Dragon Ball The Breakers Beta Review for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC via Steam for a game that is scheduled to be released on October 14th, 2022 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Dragon Ball The Breakers is pretty much unlike any other Dragon Ball game you've probably ever played because this is a 7-on-1 PvP online multiplayer experience where 7 survivors attempt to find a time machine by locating various parts and unlocking various keys in a specific map while being challenged by a raider, either Frieza, Cell, or when the full game release Majin Buu. The survivor characters, the 7 characters that are being played, created characters, though you can utilize skins like Bulma instead of your created avatar, to run around the map collecting these keys that will hopefully unlock the time machine. While looking for the keys, you can find boxes that may produce defensive items like Vegeta's gloves, or even like a one-use rocket launcher. The randomness of whatever item you may attain may be very beneficial or it may not. Some of these items include, beyond just weapons and defensive measures, actual Dragon Balls that can also be dropped by humans that are rescued if you are able to get to them before the raider does. You can also find radars like the Dragon Radar, which will allow you to find Dragon Balls easier, or find survivors easier, or even find the other keys depending on what level you have. But one of the more important items that you can find, either dropped by humans or found in these boxes, are the charge items. Now these charge items allow for your character to transform and be able to fight the raider. While you utilize attacks and fly around, your key level will drop down, and if it does empty before the raider is either defeated or you're able to escape the raider's sight, you will be vulnerable for an attack that could leave you down and of course dead in a few seconds if your allies don't revive you in time. While being a survivor is relatively simple, being a raider can be a little bit more complicated, mostly because of the hunt that comes with it. As a raider, you have up to 4 levels of transformation, and the only way to do that is by killing enemies, finding specific items that you can also charge up your key, and destroying the environment. As you evolve, you have this overall ability to destroy a certain section of a map. Only once, so you have 3 chances if your raider is able to survive long enough or your opposing raider is able to survive long enough. Now, playing as a raider will allow for you to not only attack your foes, especially if you find them before they're able to really get a good charge meter leveled up, but just like the survivors, raiders also have specific abilities that can be changed, and that's one of the more interesting aspects about the game that is both a benefit and a fatal flaw in terms of balancing. There is a prestige system, a leveling system that comes with this game. So if you have the time and you're able to put in a lot more hours than an average player or a casual player, you will have a greater advantage than someone just jumping in and playing for 1 or 2 hours a week. And that can definitely take away some of the fun, because certain abilities can be bought in the in-game store, and from the looks of it, there may be the influence of actual money being utilized, that you can put money down and get a lot more abilities, such as, for the survivors, a solar flare attack or solar flare ability that temporarily blinds the raider that can allow for a quicker escape even if you're near death. Now this is just from the beta perspective, it hasn't been anything confirmed, so I cannot say or deny that this won't be a factor, but from the beta itself, it's very obvious that with this leveling system, the balance will be really detrimental to the overall experience for newer players, especially if they don't fix the matchmaking in the sense of, I understand this is a beta, so it's not as precise in trying to match up evenly leveled players, but if it doesn't, if it is just a free-for-all where a level 41 survivor can take on a level 1 raider with a group of level 6s to 20 fellow survivors, it's not going to be a fun experience for that raider. And on the opposite end, if you fight a level 50 raider and all of your characters are very low level, all of the survivors are very low level players, it won't be a good experience for them as well. In terms of connection quality, I didn't have any problems once I got into any of the games, but being in the lobby and waiting to try to start a game definitely took some time. A lot more time than I expected, especially during the weekend. It didn't really matter what time of the day or night I tried to play. It was still a long-winded waiting session to try to get a game 9 times out of 10. Overall, the feeling of the beta has left me optimistic. I do want to play this game when it comes out in full, specifically to try out Majin Buu. I didn't really get a chance to try out Cell too much. I did play a lot with Frieza, he was my favorite raider, and I'm intrigued to see how the overall package comes together. But I can see there will be some fatal flaws to it if they aren't alleviated, if there isn't a better matchmaking, if microtransactions don't infiltrate the game. I think it will be a solid experience, but it may be a little bit too uneven for it to be the most inviting game that you can experience when it comes to these PvP asymmetrical multiplayer adventures.
Now, state your wish. Consider it done.
Here comes a pain! Your ass is toast!
Impossible! No one does this to me!
Ha ha!